So a great philosopher once said, when the power of love is greater than the love of power, we will have peace. Jimi Hendrix, that's right. The great philosopher Jimi Hendrix, that's right. So where I'm going with this is, Justin Stone often used to say, both in his presentations and in many of the books that he wrote, that doing Tai Chi Cha is an act of love. And now we also know that there's a lot of rock-hard science behind Tai Chi Cha, really backing up its efficacy and indicating so very clearly what a great, great thing it is to do, and also indicating that it's a moving mindfulness practice. But the way the whole love thing shows up in our Tai Chi Cha practice is in the movement principles like softness and constancy and compassion with yourself if you screw up. Because remember, there's no such thing as bad Tai Chi Cha, right? And when we practice those things during Tai Chi Cha, my teacher April always used to say, Tai Chi Cha is a great practice for the practice of life. When we practice all these things in our Tai Chi Cha practice, and when we practice Tai Chi Cha really, really regularly, what often occurs is the way we show up in our regular life starts to change. So perhaps by renewing our commitment to Tai Chi Cha, we might show up more in the world as people who are interested in the power of love, and maybe we'll help change the world anyway, as a sidebar, as a passing thing. So you're in charge of your own spine rather than the back of the chair being in charge of holding up your spine. And let's all take a nice deep breath and let it out. You know, let's do that 2 more times because I love 3s. Let's take a nice deep breath and let's let it out. And let's do 1 more. And let's let it out. Good. And if you're standing, go ahead and put your feet in sort of a V shape. So any way that feels comfortable to you, where your heels are a little closer than your toes. And it doesn't really matter if your feet are far apart or close, but it might be easier when you begin the moving part of the practice if your feet are kind of close together. So heels not necessarily kissing, but close. Feet kind of in a V. And if you all want to close your eyes, you can do that. That's fine. And also if you're standing, you're just going to let your tailbone tuck a little bit under so that suddenly your knees slide a little bit forward. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. So this is the way I regularly stand, and this is what I'm talking about here. Just letting the tailbone tuck a little bit under. You're going to feel the small of your back get a little straighter, and the knees just slid forward. And most importantly, if you're standing with me, I want you to really feel the whole of each of your feet touching the ground. In fact, let's all just feel the soles of our feet. Even if you're seated, just check in with the sensations in the soles of your feet. You know, he who keeps his thoughts in the soles of the feet can cure 1,000 illnesses. That's Buddha. He was a great fan of Tai Chi Cha too, actually. And then all of us are just going to lift the fingers. So it's as if we're resting our palms on our legs. And in fact, if you're seated, you are just going to rest your palms on your legs right now. And because these chairs are so hard, you're going to feel your sit bones pretty good here. Are you feeling them? Yeah. We're just going to roll ever so slightly back on the sit bones. I'm going to turn a little sideways for you so you can see what I'm talking about. We're just going to roll slightly back, and you're probably going to feel your belly kind of crinkle up here. And we're just going to roll slightly forward, and you're probably going to feel your belly expanding here. And the whole upper body is just going to move like a column, back and forward, back and forward. I'm going to turn front ways again so those of you on the side can see. Back and forward and back and forward. And this time when we move back, just place your hands down here, palms out, palms facing the same direction as your knees. And as you let your upper body move forward, the hands are going to float up. And as your upper body moves back, the hands are going to float back. That's it. And here we are doing rocking motion. Nice. What I love about doing Tai Chi Cha in the chair is you don't even need to worry about what's going on from the hips down. So sometimes it's an easier way to get a little bit more tuned into, especially this part of your body, which is really sort of our energetic heart-mind. In Tai Chi Cha speak, we call that the Dantian. There's a lot of translations for that name, and we don't have to get into it now. Let's go even slower. Here we go. Nice. And remember that the best way to do Tai Chi Cha is with the effort of no effort. So if you're finding any of your muscles trying to kick in, just tell them they can have a nap right now. Take the movements down, do them a little easier. And I also want you to know that means there's no use worrying about whether or not you're doing it right, because that's a lot of effort. There's no such thing as bad Tai Chi Cha. Nice. And we normally only do 9 of this particular move, but it's the warm-up, so I like to do a lot more than 9. And check in with your body and see if it feels like you're sitting in a rocking chair. It should feel a little bit like that. Then we do 2 more. That's 1. And here's the last one. We're just going to rest for a moment right here in the chair. To your right leg, right? And then we're going to let this part of the body kind of turn to the right. For me, I always feel myself kind of backing up into my right butt cheek here, right? And then up go the hands into the hole where the shoulder used to be. Now, we're going to let your left leg, your empty leg, lengthen just like it did when we were going forward back, but it's going to go to the side. So heel first. Yeah. And when we start to shift, the foot's going to flatten out, and when that happens, we're going to keep both our feet flat the whole time. Okay, so here we go. Nice. Let's do 6 rotations, just like we did in the chair a moment ago. Normally we do this move in 3 sets of 3. Good. Good, looks good. Nice. Good job, Alice, following along. Here's our last one. So as your left leg fills up, we're just going to rise up on it. That's it. And let's do the other side. So let all of your weight drop into your left leg, and we're going to shift, and we're going to let the upper body turn, and we're going to put the hands up there, and out goes that empty heel, and then we flow. You ever hear that phrase, go with the flow? I like to think of the word flow as an acronym. You ready for it? We're keeping in the Jimi Hendrix theme today. Follow love over worry. Yeah. Let's let this be the last one. There we go. Nice. Seated, just go ahead and let your left foot get ever so slightly out there. If you're standing, we're going to let all the weight drop down into your right foot so your empty left knee can extend. That's it. And you're going to pretend there's a big high school marching band bass drum strapped to your chest, and your fingers are going to go around the steel rim of the drum. Okay? So as we go forward, so do the hands. And as we come back, so do the hands. I'm going to turn sideways. And remember, I don't mirror when I turn sideways. Nice. All of us are going to let the upper body turn to your left, and then for those of us who are standing, we're going to sort of shift that direction as well, and up goes the left hand. Yeah. Then let your empty right leg go out if you're standing. Let's just do one hand at a time for now. We're going to just shift and let it pull the hand along. Okay. Let's go very slowly. That's it. Let's do a couple more rotations with just the one hand. Nice. That's it. We're going to do one more with the left hand, and then we're going to let it rest at the bottom. But we're going to go over towards your right. Now we're going to do a couple of rotations with your right hand. Here we go. But this is good. Some of our online people have sat down too. So we're doing a blended class today. Nice. And your eyes stay forward, actually, which is good because it's easier to watch me when your eyes are looking at me, right? Let's do one more, and we're going to let the right hand rest at the bottom, but we're going to go back over to the left, and we're going to put it all together. And if your arms or mind get confused, don't worry about it. There's no such thing as bad Tai Chi. Here we go. Nice. Just let your body fall into the rhythm here. We're definitely going with the flow now. We're doing 9 sets of this. Looks good, Alice. So here's our last one. And as we move back the direction we came from, we're just gonna float back down to rest. That's it. Feel your body resting. How wonderful. Let's do push-pull. And as we move forward, the hands are going to float forward. And as we move back, they're going to float back. That's it. I often think this move is poorly named because push-pull sounds like a lot of work, right? It should be called float-float, don't you think? Let's do one more set. That's it. That's it. And let's rest.